welcome to Missing the Point. I am Rayshawn Buchanan with the basketball crew. My guy DK Sizzle, my other guy, the road to Cape Bob Kelly. And listen, it's summer league. Obviously, just when we thought we were done with Celtics talk, we come right back with some more eat for you. So yeah, let's get into it, man. So summer league is now started over there in Vegas, and there's a lot of players that we've been able to look at over the last week or so. So DK, I'll start with you. Just based off what you've seen so far, who has been a standout for you on the Celtics summer league team?
I like the big guy whose name I'm not going to attempt to pronounce because
Mafiondu
Kabengele. Yeah, I mean the second name's a little bit easier, but I wouldn't attempt to butcher the first one. I really like him. As you know, I'm a big fan of big men. We'll definitely get into that when we get to possible TPE picks later. But I just really liked him. I feel like he's got an NBA body, which is like, I think first thing you want to check off the list when you're watching Summer League, right? Which I actually feel like all the guys that perform well in the Summer League were really filled out. They really look like they could go and compete with guys that like are NBA sized. But him especially, I feel like he has presence, which is something like I always look for in a big man. And I'm talking stuff that translates. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, we have it in the back of our heads, like, don't overreact to Summer League. Don't overreact to Summer League. Like, I have overreacted to Summer League in the past. I'm not going to lie. Like, I have thought some guys that we never saw again were going to be the second coming of Robert Parrish. Like, don't get me wrong. But in saying that, in order to try and temper my views, I do just try to look for stuff that translates. He hustles. He had one real, I don't know if you guys watched all the games, but he had one really great hustle play out of bounds where he got an assist, like passing the ball back in right underneath the basket. He laid out for it, passed it back in for a finish. And I like hustle from big man. I like the fact that he looks like he can move. You slot him into a Celtics roster 30 games into the NBA season. Maybe he looks a lot slower all of a sudden. I mean, we've had that happen in the past, but I feel like he looks like he can move. He looks like he can play make a little bit. We run a lot of our offense through our bigs when we run two-man rotations, which, again, when we get into the trade exception, we need some depth there. I think we'll talk about that. I feel like you got to give him a slot. I feel like that's the guy that stood out to me. I know that there was players who had better stat lines, and I'm sure we're going to talk about them, but for me, it's roster needs as opposed to, just basic Summer League performances. The guy who I thought he was the guy I thought stood out as far as let's get him a roster spot because I think he might actually get a chance at some minutes, especially with the Rob Williamses of the world not being, all the time healthy. And forget even his health. Do we want to give him like a little bit of an extended layoff in the first few games of the regular season as we get into things? And give guys like that minutes, and give a little bit more of the bench, a deeper bench at the start of the season. So Rob can get like 100% healthy. Like what's the timeline on that when he's not limping around? And I feel like, promoting from within for that role, I think is a great thing to do. Like that's the really nice part about Summer League. I think you can try a lot of guys out in the first few games of the regular season, like see what they're made of. And I think honestly, I don't know how you guys feel, but I really feel like the whole roster really impressed this Summer League. Not since I think Jalen's, I think Jalen's second year in Summer League, which was a weird but kind of cool thing that he did. Was I as excited about a group of players? Or
that was so fun. That was so fun. When he was dominating Summer League.
Yeah, I thought it was cool though. He's like, "Fuck it, I want to play more basketball. I need more minutes. I need more reps. Like I'm trying to be out here working hard." But yeah, he was fucking absolutely yamming on everybody. But not since then have I actually been as excited about a Summer League group. And I thought like I'll leave it to you guys to talk about probably the other obvious notables or notable. But I really enjoyed him, and especially with our needs of big men, and that's going to be the theme of my show today. So
yeah, with Kabengele, what you notice most is that you do notice him. That's my biggest thing with the big
presence, like I said,
right. With a big man, that's the number one thing that I always look for is how often do you disappear for 10 minutes? Because as a big man, you can't, in a stretch of a big game, when it comes down to it, you got to notice your 7-foot center out there. If you don't, that's a problem. And he definitely has that. The other guy is Brogdon, man. He's awesome. He's got it on a basketball court. You just see certain guys that just are playmakers that, make things happen. And he's one of those dudes for me. I think Brogdon deserves, at least a 12-man spot. He deserves Hauser's spot.
Didn't he have a two-way contract last season?
I think he did.
No,
right?
he was still drafted stats. He was playing over in France.
Okay.
Okay.
Like I am just like the Amadar kid. He's over there at Edgeware still. Which I want to see him come over here too. But obviously that didn't happen. But yeah, he's been impressive. But yeah, continue, Robbie.
And the other guy is, I'm gonna get this wrong. Is it Trevion?
Oh, Trevion Williams.
Trevion Williams. That was the worst pronunciation ever. I'm sorry. He's awesome. He's awesome. He sees the basketball court, and I think he's a steal as an undrafted dude. I don't even think you do two-way with him. You don't risk it, man. Don't ever let him go to waivers. He's a steal that if you keep him in a Celtics uniform, it's gonna be like a Draymond. Where you know what I mean, where you get him late and he's awesome.
Yeah, there was a ton of like, why didn't he get drafted? There was
it's awesome,
right after, and it's
awesome at Purdue.
I texted about it in the group text. It was like Brad scooped him, and I was like, I wonder who this guy is. I didn't know a ton about him, and everything you read was like, what happened? What's the deal? Why did he go undrafted? I think it might have just been a weird phenomenon, and I think we might have capitalized on it. I really think it was a swoop.
Well, no, I want to say we talked about it. Might have been Mike talked about it. But,
we talked about him on the March Madness show. 100%. He came up on last year's March Madness show. 100%.
I thought he was going to go in the first round. Is what people were saying.
Well, the reason why he made that. So I made this comparison, and maybe you guys are with me. You may disagree with us. Okay. He reminds me of Greg Monroe, right? Greg Monroe to me, and this is even before he got to Boston, but he moves like Greg Monroe. He's also a left-handed player. Has good handles like Greg Monroe had as well when he came out of Georgetown. But Trevion Williams came out 10 years too late. And what I mean by that, obviously, he's you can't help when you're born, obviously. But
I was going to say back to Greg Monroe.
He's a throwback,
not exactly a prototypical 2022 NBA.
But I say no. I'm you asking why was he undrafted? Like that's why. Like if this was 2010, he would have went top 10 because of how his game translates. But he passed. Listen, like I said, we talked about the vision is there, right? He has a bit of a post game. Like he knows how to finish over his left shoulder really well. And he occasionally will hit a three. I think Kevin McGilly is a little more polished when it comes to hitting a three. But with Trevion Williams, like he's more of an interior guy, and is someone that obviously can see the court really well.
I think
now. For sure. But I'm saying like I'm just speaking to why he probably didn't get drafted. And then he doesn't move exceptionally well. That's move his feet well, and then obviously that's something that he's gonna have to do if he's at the next level, regardless of what uniform he plays in. So there's still a lot of things to go out there, but just offensively, you can see why he was even picked up for the summer league team and has a legit chance to not at least be a two-way player or if not make the 15-man roster with the standard contract. But for me, two guys that have stood out, I'm with you, Bobby. Buchanan has been awesome. He's everything we thought Romeo was going to be. Everything we thought Romeo was going to be. That's what Buchanan has been. So he's attacking the rim every time. The jump shot's a little raw, but like I said, he is a slasher.
You can teach a jump shot. You can teach
for sure.
Shot,
and he's 19 years old, so whatever. So so that to me will come along. But yeah, he's been awesome. But the guy I'm about to bring up, I did not know his shoe like this, and it was Matt Ryan. I did not know that he had that in his game. Obviously, he was on the team for the second half of last season. And it just goes to show the 14th or 15th guy in the NBA can bust your ass at any given time. We hear too much talking about, man, I'm better. I could go get a rebound. You ain't doing shit. Like let's not get crazy. These dudes at the end of the roster, even like we joked about, even with Scout would give people bucket. Like it's not happening. Like you're not doing anything against.
I'm surprised Bobby wasn't the one who brought up Matt Ryan, to be honest with you. I thought the first thing out of your mouth was going to be like, that game winner against the Bucks, dude, he's the next.
It was a shot. Nice shot. But I mean,
and he was driving DoorDash a year ago. He's got a great story. Like,
that's so. I'm glad you brought that up, TK. So, because
I gave it to Ray. I knew Ray was excited about it. I knew he was
the guy if he gets Sume, though.
I'm trying to get Ray next year, so when we get down to the finals, him be as excited as possible. So when he eventually breaks down and dies into a puddle, that it takes a little longer. You know what I mean? So we get this Rayshawn for longer.
I did okay. I did okay with the reaction show with Game 7. I thought I was
Oh, yeah,
okay.
you were good.
You were like, I fucking knew it.
I'm just glad. Just
I'm like, DK called on me enough on that show to walk me through it. I felt okay after.
And like, fuck those guys. I fucking knew it. I do it all the time. And the second you guys talk to me,
the first time
Rayshawn,
first time Rayshawn's like, you know what? We got this. JT tripped up. He scores 8 points and goes like 2 and 19.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? But let's not bring up old moves. I'm trying.
It still hurts. It still hurts.
looking to the future, baby.
I'm looking to looking to the future. You feel me? So, but like I said, there's a lot of promise that's on this team now, because I think they're a win down mode. We're not going to see a lot of these guys this season. Now, obviously, because of injury, whatever, people are going to get the opportunities if it's a blowout. Once again, I want to see those guys on the floor, because that means that we're up 30 in the fourth quarter. And that there's Tatum's on the bench chilling, Brown's on the bench, Rob, Al, whatever. So we want to see these guys play, because that means it's Geno time, baby. Like, so I'm here for that. But no, to the Matt Ryan thing, and I want to touch on that, because obviously Twitter's been saying it. DK alluded to making too many assumptions about Summer League. And I think there was a tweet that went out about it might have been from Jay King. Don't tell me Summer League doesn't matter. When you see a dude break down about getting this opportunity, listen, a year ago he's riding around to get it.
Yeah, I was fired up.
Yeah, shout out to 2 Chainz. Riding around to get it. He's riding around doing jabs. Hey, your wing stop is here. Thanks for the order. And now he's dropping game winners at Vegas. Like, you can't make that shit up. You can't make that shit up. So don't tell me that it doesn't matter. Like that. So you know what I'm saying? Once again, every single one of us that's on NBA Twitter would kill to have that moment. Whether it be they don't do Orlando Summer League anymore, but as I'm showing my age when I say that, but whether it was Orlando Summer League, Vegas Summer League, the California Classic, whatever, like, you would kill to have one of those moments. You would even kill to play overseas. So it's like it's okay to give guys props for playing well in this space. Like I said, I'm happy for Matt Ryan. I'm happy for Brogdon. I still want to see Yam Madar. I don't think we're ever going to see him at this point, because just coming over from Israel, I just don't see that happening at this moment. But he is another 6'3" guard. He really is the Israeli and Payne Pritchard. So I know Bobby would be against that, because he just wants Payne Pritchard only on the team. But
I'm okay with you paying.
He's a fickle bitch. You would
I'm okay.
fucking turn around in 2 seconds for that guy.
I'd
be like, Peyton Pritchard, who? He's old.
Old news.
I'm like, let's not go way out, right?
Give me a 6'2" shooting white point guard all day long, and I'll be all over it, bro.
To your point, though, Ray, about the Summer League, what I do like about it. Do you guys watch Hustle on Netflix? Did you guys watch the Adam Sandler?
I haven't watched it yet.
No, but
I've been meaning to.
Guys,
I know.
It's a nailed on. I know both of you love it. Anyway,
I know.
The thing that they do really well in it is it's like you kind of have a ground floor point of view to like the kind of competition that these I wouldn't call them superfluous, but like these sort of build up games, these events like Summer League, like these like behind closed doors workouts, like these, NBA verified stars behind closed doors game that we all think happens, but we're not 100% sure where they are or who wins. Like, it gives you a nice perspective on that. And that's what I like about Summer League, to be honest with you, because it's a completely clean slate, but it's competitive, and you'd be able to tell if it wasn't, if it was. There's preseasons in other sports, most other sports that have preseasons that are not competitive. They're just not. Like, that nobody really gives a shit. Most people are trying not to get injured before the season starts so they don't get cut before the deadline. I think Summer League, because people are watching, because the games are competitive, a lot of these guys can emerge. You know what I mean? I think it's a real platform. And with the depth of talent that the NBA has now, I mean, even, you're talking about Greg Monroe, 2010. The 50th best guy in the league in 2010 was nowhere close to as good as the 50th best guy in the league right now. So like the depth of talent, there's fucking basketball players falling off fucking trees right now. We should be falling on our knees and thanking our lucky stars how many good guys there are, because even that, and I've heard this point made on other podcasts, but I agree with it wholeheartedly. Even the shitty teams are watchable next season. You get league pass, like you got hours of entertainment for the entire thing. So that trickles down or not even down. I wouldn't even call it down, but that trickles. And it's you look at summer league and you're like, oh fuck, I love what's going on here. These guys are all good basketball players, And what that does is it elevates other people's games because you guys know yourselves when you played sports. You played better when there was better kids on the floor. That's just like the way it is. Like you had your best games at the highest level of competition. I guarantee it. If you ever did it for any sort of length of time with any real sustained effort, the better the competition got, the better your teammates got, the better you got. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean,
you think you'd stick out for for sure. If you know how to ball, you know how to ball, and like I think your games get elevated. And I think that's what we saw happen. Also, I'll button on this. What I love about the Celtics in summer league is we have a culture now. We have a culture. We have a game plan. We have a way that we play basketball. And always there was like the Celtics culture. Always there was this sort of like, this is who we are kind of thing as a franchise. But our DNA and our identity, because of how successful we were last season, how established Ime is now as quickly as he's come in, Brad's solidified himself as a GM. We're in a position where you got to play Celtics basketball if you want to get on the Celtics. Like you said, Ray, we're in win now mode. So if you want to get a contract, I mean, I think there's some slots for the big men, but some of the guards you're talking about, it's like, man, that we're deep. We're deep at guard.
Oh yes, I mean,
Gallinari coming in, we're deep at wings. So you got to play Celtics basketball too. You can't just be like, oh, that guy's good, let's give him some fucking minutes. Because like we suck. Nah, you got to be good. You got to be good, and you got to be good. You got to look like you can play in our system now. So it makes it even more interesting when you're watching these summer league games.
Facts. And it's so speaking of having to play Celtics ball to be in our system. Obviously, we're taping this on July 13th, and the trade player exception for Evan Fournier expires on July 18th, which is on Monday. So Bobby, I'll start with you, man. Who was obviously it's for 17.1 million. There's a lot of players that could have fit that are off the table, but there's still some that are available. So who do they end up getting in your opinion? Who should they get in your opinion that could add to the culture here and not take anything away?
So the top couple, excuse me, top couple guys that were on my list are no longer available. Herter.
Oh, you had Kevin Herter? I kept
Herter. Yeah, he
that was so annoying when he went to the Kings. I was pissed. I was like, he's 7 feet, but I think he can play the 3. It's wild.
And listen, I don't mean to make it this, but like Boston fucking loves white guys that can shoot, and Boston, and they will fall in love with this dude.
We love circus acts too. So
right, he's a circus act that can play. He's Scalabrini, but he has game. You know what I mean? So like, come on. The other one is kind of a name that kind of pisses me off because he's horrible to bet on, and I don't love his game at all. And Kyle Kuzma. He's my other guy that I feel like he could fit in. He plays great defense. He has his offensive struggles, but he can play defense. And I feel like, what he does that is negative on the offensive side of the court, where he can kind of be a ball hog, and he thinks he's much better than he is at 3-point shooting, could be kind of negated on the Celtics, where we have all these other options. Like
we have all these other guys that have that same trait.
Well, he'd fit right in. But I mean, listen, the only other guy I can think of is KCP. I don't think they're going to use it. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't think it's going to get used because it seems like they made those 2 moves, right? And right now what we're looking at is a big man. And is there any big man? I kept looking. Who's a big man that you got? I'm sure you got one that fits in that TP. I just can't find one.
I have one, but I'm letting DK go.
No, go ahead. I got a bunch of names. You go first.
Got you. So for me, he's actually out there with Dave. He's out in California. He's actually played for Sacramento. Rayshawn Holmes.
How's that?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So so I should let you go first. Sorry, my bad.
No. I love it.
No.
He's a one-skill big man. He can
Rayshawn
play in the post. It's great.
Yeah. He's an energy guy though. That's what I'm big on that. Like, he's an energy guy.
100%.
He's not going to get 20 and 10. That's not his game. But can he get you 10 and 5?
20 minutes.
Obviously, yeah, 20 minutes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's expanding his game each year. So when he came into Philly, he wasn't really someone that can even shoot outside of maybe 15 feet. But now he can do that. And obviously, every big man in the league now has to at least have some type of jump shot. So yeah, energy, good defense.
Okay.
Like I remember meeting him when they came to Boston this year, and like he was cool. And so the other guy I'm thinking about too was actually his teammate, and it's Harrison Barnes. Like those are two guys I think about. Like
I like Barnes.
also Harrison Barnes. Once again, you guys know how I feel about wings. You can't have enough of them, whether it's food or players. You can't have enough. So Harrison Barnes to me really would be the ideal guy.
His identity
at the 17th, right? But I just to me, and also I'm a Tar Heel fan too, so I'm a little biased. But yeah, those are the two guys I think about right away. And then obviously, as some names come to mind, I'll think about it some more. But DK, give us your list, bro.
No, I love the Rayshawn shout out because I think he'd be great in a very Bob Kelly way. I think he'd be great for Rob Williams. I think those guys would work out great together. I think he'd be great for him to fill in for certain minutes. Like I said, when we're talking about the summer league, I think he needs someone to carry some minutes for him. I mean, that's just a fact. I love the guy, but like, come on, we got to accept reality here. Yeah, I love that you called that out. I think he's going to waste away in obscurity in Sacramento for a while if he doesn't move to a bigger market. I think he's a really good player. I think he's really underrated, like you said, and I think he's got great footwork. If I could take his offensive game and just plop it into Rob Williams, like I would do that no problem because I can see a huge upside for it.
He'd be an all-star next
year.
Yeah,
in like 1 second. Yeah. So like between the two of them, like I just feel like they puzzle piece really well together. But that might be pie in the sky. I have some other options. Lauri Markkanen from Cleveland.
But I was about to bring him up.
Okay.
I was literally about to bring him up.
Wait, he's under.
He's under. I can feel. Yeah,
I'm looking at it right.
You kept yelling at me you kept yelling at me in the Discord for trying to use too much money of the trade exception. So I did check these numbers.
Okay,
he's under.
You're trying to Bill Simmons it.
Yeah, I was like, can we get that guy? I was like, he's like $30 million a year. It's like, okay. I was like, can you combine trade exceptions?
Joel Embiid? How about Joel Embiid? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that phenomenal.
We're reining that in. Lauri Markkanen, I think, would be great. He's another 7-footer. He's fucking weird. He's weird.
But he can shoot. That'd be awesome.
Like we talked about. He's got
defense,
he's got a very weirdly similar Herder profile for the kind of stuff that he actually brings to your team. He's someone like Herder, like we talked about, and like unlike Rayshawn, who I think would be a kind of a fill in some stuff for some guys we already have. He brings some shit to the table we do not have at all. And I think if you look at what we've been doing in summer league, if you look at the kind of at the Brogdon trade and the Gallinari trade, if you look at the way that Ime has been constructing this team overall, and I love that they're doing this. I think this is the way you should construct a basketball team. I've been saying it for years. They want to have every look. They want to be able to put out a team that can have every look on the basketball court. So if this isn't working, this will work. It's the reason why the zone didn't fuck us up as bad against Miami this year. Still fucked us up a little bit, but we had more looks. We had more things we could do. And we're even still a little shallow last playoffs. I think we can all admit. You get a guy like Markkanen in, I think that gives you just another look. Fuck it. Another look. Like, what does it look like in the two big man rotation with him in there with Rob? Like, let's see what it looks like. Let's play with it. Another one, and this is a guy that I honorable mention Kelly Olynyk, baby. Like, if any, I think he would be just like a Tice upgrade. I think like for that position, for those minutes, I think he would use those minutes with a little bit more quality. I think you could actually see him in the playoffs making a contribution. However, like it's that like kind of awkward, gangly forward thing that we were doing a few years ago that was kind of pissing me off. I know a great shout by you, Ray, for the trade exception we haven't talked about on the show is Jay Crowder. I think we could take him back for like $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be another good look. Like you said, we can never have enough wings. I never loved his movement, but he's a good shooter. So like we need that. And we really do need a spot up jump shooter, which is a conversation for another day.
Right. So I got into a discussion with someone on Twitter today about a couple more guys, and I want to see what y'all think about this. So what about Dwight Howard or Derek Favors?
Hey man, hey, literally made the exact.
So
getting an old big man has worked out for us in the past.
I'm glad both gave that one because Dwight, I can see why we had but Favors,
I'm okay. Favors, I'm okay.
Favors, yeah. You're not looking for him to be what he was in Utah. You're not looking for that guy because he was getting 16 attendance. You're not looking for that. I mean, granted, if he became that, hey, beautiful. We're back in the finals, and I'm holding the rope with the confetti falling. Possible, who knows? But Yeah, to me, that would be a better fit, or he would be a better fit than Dwight. But I can understand why people wouldn't want either. But go ahead, Bobby.
Here's why I'd be okay with Favors is it would be he's been humbled. Okay, Derek Favors has been through the ringer of the NBA, where he came in as the third pick. He was third, right? Yeah.
Yep. That's what
He came in as the third pick, and he was considered a bust for a few years. You know what I mean?
How good was he in that year of 2K though, when you had to play like the rookie?
Oh, he was amazing, bro. He was
do anything against him.
Yeah, he was but he went from that to a bust to a role player. Then he went back to a starter, and then he became a valuable role player again. And I feel like a guy like that knows his identity in the NBA, and I feel like that's so important in today's NBA. So I actually love the Favors call. So with the TPE, do we have to match the salary as well, or is it just
you trade for their salary, but
it doesn't have to match. So as long as it falls underneath 17.1, then you're good. So even if it's like 16.999, like you're good because it's under.
It should honestly,
and there's no minimum, right? It could be a guy that has like $2 million. Like that's where I'm always confused about it.
It could be a guy that has like a 2 mil, but we have 2 other TPs that are maxed out at like 6, 5, and 6.
So there'd be
they're probably. I feel like they're probably not either. Well, because those they still have those, but they don't expire until
February or something.
Like February. So that might get used in a smaller deal just in case something doesn't work.
Trade
that's possible,
TPE or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So that may not work. So I just think that and they get creative once they send out salary, I believe. So.
Okay, so in that case, I have a name. One more.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Bertans. David Bertans. I know. Listen, I know.
Last year, I know. I was 2 years ago. I was with you, but after last year, I don't know.
He was better. He was better with Dallas, though. Wait, he was so much better with Dallas than he had been with Washington that last year and that last half the season where he stopped playing defense. I don't know.
Playing with Luka.
I just feel like it's
play with Luka.
He's Lauri Markkanen 2.0. You know what I mean? That's where it comes down to.
I'd say Markkanen over him.
Oh, 100%. Markkanen's definitely Markkanen can spot start for you. That's the good thing with Markkanen is like he actually can spot start, and you're not losing too much with Markkanen starting for you.
So yeah, because you know what? Because I'm like because I didn't really think about that before David brought it up. So I'll put it like this. Right? I think with Markkanen, right? I feel the reason why he would do really well here in my opinion is learning from Al Horford, who basically it could be. I mean, he's not the passer that Al was. Al was a passer from the moment he got to the NBA, but just from the other facets of the game, how to take care of your body, how to lead, whether it's quietly or being vocal in the locker room. Markkanen's growth as a player, as a leader, would probably grow ×2, maybe even ×3. Playing next to Al or behind Al, or even times if you had him in a lineup where you got Horford and him out there because Rob maybe is either foul trouble or he's not playing for whatever game because his rest or whatever. Like to have those guys when you can play 5 outs, and basically now you can have Tatum dive to the rim, Brown dive to the rim, and guys have to collapse. Then you kick out to the corner with a corner 3 now it's wide open. Ball game. I haven't said that term in a long time. That's ball. That is ball game. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. So that's what I'm thinking about. But once again, that has to happen. Every player cannot fit that we talked about. I said Markkanen fits that. Harrison Barnes fits that comparison.
We need depth like that. If we're gonna run like that, though, we need depth because not every guy below the 5th guy is gonna be on every night to be able to hit those shots when they're
sure. But when your sixth man now is Brogdon, right?
Which is, I mean, that's a whole different conversation, but I feel like
that's what's being put out there, right? So he went on sure, but I mean, he went on Woj's podcasts, which I mean, once again, that's a major platform. They talked about Brad. He didn't have to win.
Yeah, no, I got.
But he didn't have to say that Brad called his agent to him and said, "Hey, we want you to embrace that." He didn't have to say that. So the fact that, he went out there and actually put that on wax and said, "Yo, this is what they're looking for us to do," like that's dope. But of course,
he's such a crunch time guy, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean he can't play crunch time. You gotta.
No, yeah, that's what counts. The started time. Yeah, but it started times, but it's not something where we also talked about his minutes being limited because he's also injury prone. Yeah. So I don't want him playing 35 minutes a night. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm telling you that right now.
You're gonna have to in the playoffs.
Unless he's rolling. No, of course. I'm saying, but to get there, I'm saying, if he's rolling, of course, let him cook. But if there's certain nights when you could get him 25 minutes a night, yo, cool, sit down. You did your job.
Get me ice bath, Malcolm.
Oh, you get ice bath, exactly. But I'm like, of course, if you want the ending line to be Smart, Brogdon, Tatum, Tatum, Brown, and then Rob, of course. But it's gonna be nice when you need Allen Rob out there because of
I love that five. I love that five.
Yeah, it's great.
They're making them so Brogdon makes
interchangeable.
Yeah, this is such a quick pivot. I love it. This is what I live. This is what I live for. But yeah, exactly. No matter who that gets thrown at the Celtics, they have a lineup for them. You know what I mean? I saw something today that said the Celtics are really excited for their small ball prospects, and we could even see Gallinari at the 5 a few times next year. And the Celtics try and run out a death lineup.
I'll tell you
where
what,
all 5 can just bang on you from 3 at all times, and that excites me so much.
I love the idea, and that's the first time I've even heard that. I love that idea because I'll tell you, as Celtics fans, I don't know how much of a only watch the Celtics fan base you are, but if you're looking for Gallinari to come in and do the same kind of defensive shit that you see other players in the team do, and you're looking for him to do this,
he's not that guy.
Running, it's not what he does. Okay, he doesn't, but he's super crafty. He winds up in spots that are like crazy open that you don't really know how he got there. He moves around the court super well. Him at the 5 is fucking lethal. It's lethal if you're not getting like absolutely fucking destroyed in the paint if you're running it right.
Right, but especially with the pick and pop, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, so honestly, you know who's gonna benefit from playing with him is actually Marcus Smart.
I thought you were gonna say Jaylen Brown.
Well, maybe no. I'm saying, but I'm just because
Gallinari can dribble too. He can dribble, by the way.
Yeah,
he's got spots.
Exactly. So
he's got spots.
Jaylen Brown will get more shots at the rim, I believe that. But I'm saying, just from a playmaker standpoint, I think when Smart drives, because Smart's best pass is when he drives and he kicks it back out to the 3. Like he's mastered that. So I think seeing Gallo at the 3 when they're out there together, and he can shoot from 30. But we've seen it. He's done it against us. If you look, if Celtics look back at the tape a couple years ago, the man had 9 threes on us in Atlanta.
But that's my whole point.
It's ridiculous.
That's my whole point with the pickups, right? Is that like the kind of looks that we can, like Bobby just said, we can take looks that get thrown at us. The fucking looks we can throw at other people. Like I forget if it was Brogdon or Gallinari in the presser. Shout out to Jared Weiss. Good questions, by the way. We're a friend of the pod. Heard his good questions getting thrown at the two of them. One of them was like, I think with Brogdon, he was like, I'm like the 3rd or 4th guy, like offensive option. Like you're fucked. He's like, you got to deal with Jason Tatum, and then I'm paraphrasing. That's how Dave Clarke would say it. I don't know how Brogdon said it. he's like, you got to worry about Jason Tatum. Then you got to worry about Jaylen Brown. Then you got to worry about this guy. Then you got to worry about this guy. Then you got to worry about this guy. It's like Gallinari is just going to pick his fucking spots in an ideal world. I'm very excited to watch these 2 guys come in and contribute. I really am.
You know what? It's a lot like what we thought the Celtics with Kyrie and Hayward were going to be, where we just had such a plethora of wealth, except these guys know their roles, and there's clear like tiers of like where you're at, and like they're coming here to win a ship and fit into the culture rather than trying to build around like a superstar. It's very exciting. We gave up nothing for him too. Listen, Celtics fans, I don't think you guys Gallinari kind of got overshadowed by Brogdon a lot after we got him. Gallinari is such a good pickup for this team. We lost that finals because we had no wing depth. Tatum was gassed. Brown was gassed. They were playing 43 minutes a game.
Yeah. Yep.
Gallo can come in and give you. Listen, there's going to be a game next year where Gallo scores 30 points. I can guarantee you that. He's that kind of scorer. He can drop that kind of points on you.
The dude has averaged 40% from 3 the last 4 years.
Bro, he's legit.
We didn't have anybody like that on the bench.
Yeah, not at all. So it's like, and once again, like you said, he's going to be able to spot start as well. So once again, that, like I said, the biggest need overall was depth. And Dave, you just touched on this. I'm glad you brought it up because we just segue into this. I love what I heard at the press conferences, and that's why I want to speak about that. Like, I love what I heard, from that. So, Dave, what was your biggest takeaway? I know you just gave a takeaway, but any other takeaways you had from what you heard at the press conference? Because like to me, it was spot on what I heard from both of them the other day.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, you watch these press conferences and you have to kind of wade through a lot of media training athlete speak, like there is a lot of like, stay on message. This is the mission statement. Big Daddy Brad was there to like kind of buffer them to the reporters, which was good. But I mean, it's not as if they were throwing these like very difficult questions at them. But in saying that, I especially liked Gallinari's answers to a lot of the questions. I feel like he was Jared, I think, is actually, or it was in between one of Jared's questions. Maybe somebody asked him, there was reports you could have gone somewhere else for more money. And you chose to come here. Like, why? And that's, you're getting lobbed that question. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. But he knocked it out of the park. He was like, I mean, I came here to win. I came here to win a championship. Look how successful they were. And I just feel like I slot right in,
Right.
I feel like Brogdon, Brad Stevens, I think, did a really good job, by the way. I think I like seeing him.
His press conference was amazing.
Yeah. I think he says, a little bit too much. If he was on a podcast, we might give him that note, but he's not. He's running a fucking basketball team, so he can say whatever he wants. I thought he did great. I thought he shielded the players really well. I think I like when Brad Stevens talks about basketball. I think that's the mind of a man that knows the game inside and out, and that's just the case. Brogdon had a great little speech. I don't know if you heard it, like kind of start middle of the podcast, where he was like, "I'm in my prime right now." He's like, "I experienced success at the top level when I was first in Milwaukee, and then he basically alluded to having the best thing that can happen to an athlete happen, where he hit a low point. He experienced the highest highs and what he probably has in relative terms experienced now the lowest lows. And he's like, this timing is perfect for me. He's like, I'm about to fucking go off. Like I felt the kind of crackling energy beneath what he was saying that made me feel like he was very excited to get to the season. And I love that from him, because if you can't tell, I'm very excited to get to the season, and you guys are very excited to get to the season because we are making fucking moves with these guys. They're on message. They have the right stuff to say. The kind of message and staying on the same page stuff that the Celtics have been so much better at over the last, I would call it 7 months, like from now to before the shift change.
From an F to an A,
literally
in a matter of.
And I think you give Ime credit for that. We've waxed lyrical about how good of a man manager and a chemistry coach he was over that course of the second half of the season in the playoffs. But the point being, when you go and get a guy to come into the team, we learned this lesson the hard way with Kyrie Irving. Talent is one thing, and obviously that matters. What you can do on the basketball court, obviously that's the case. But they're dealing with a very delicate balance of chemistry at this point. You have young superstars, you have good old head veterans, but you don't want to just pop somebody in there that's going to fuck everything up. It's possible. We've seen it happen before. I mean, I was saying I really wanted Malik Beasley, before he went in that Gallinari trade. I was like, I think he'd be perfect. I know he points guns at people.
I agreed.
We could have gotten him with the TPE even. Like he would use
actually point guns at people.
Yeah,
he pointed.
he got, but the dude gets buckets.
He's a walking bucket though. So
Buckets
I'm like, I don't know, guys. Fucking drive home. Anyway, I know it's mean, but
hey, well, look, we on the same page. I'm with you.
People make mistakes, and I give people second chances that don't go get me fucking 14 a night. So whatever,
it runs. It bleed green, baby.
I'm fucking magnanimous. What can I say? But that's not a risk here. That's not a risk. We got guys that are singing off the same hymn sheet. They're in tune with the band. They've got the beat. And it's lining up real well. And Bobby's saying, this is like what we thought the Kyrie Gordon year was like. It's like, this actually is how I felt. So I don't have a rude awakening.
It's different though, because what the Celtics are doing now is exactly what Dame was saying the other night, where the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. They're going Team USA style.
They're gonna build,
what
a statue,
right? And it's they are going to build him a statue, 100%. If he ever wins a ship, they're going to build him a shrine.
He doesn't even need to win a ship, dude. He's just like, I love it here. I bleed Portland. Like, let's go.
Portland's like, word. I mean, they made a show about how chill that place is. But anyways, so right now what's happening in basketball with the player empowerment, you know what I mean? Everyone's making their own moves, this and that. The Celtics are doing something different where they're not trying. I don't think they would ever go get Kevin Durant. Like, that's why I always thought those conversations were just stupid. And like, you know, yes, it's great to fantasize about. It'd be amazing if he was on this team. The Celtics are not about to give someone like KD, who has that veteran presence, who has that league respect, who has all that, the wheels, the keys to the fucking house. You know what I mean? That's just not who they are right now. They are a culture-based franchise. They're trying to model it after the Heat. With that Heat culture, they're trying to have Celtic culture.
Or the Spurs, you know.
Right, or the Spurs, right. So Spurs, yeah, I guess it is Spurs, yeah. But it is,
I mean,
it is teammate, so
He was a good example. I mean,
no, Spurs is more a directly relatable example.
Sorry.
But you know what I get going is my brain.
I love it. No,
That's exactly what we're doing though. Is going towards that kind of culture atmosphere rather than that player empowerment atmosphere, which is I'm all for, man, because the player empowerment thing just pisses me off and I think it ruins franchises. So I'm so happy we're not giving into that. We never have. It started with Danny, where he never went and traded for the Jimmy Butlers. He never went and traded for, you know, these superstars. He kept his guys. We shit on him for it for 7 years. But here we are, man. You know what I mean? Here we are.
No, I was always team Danny. Never did. I was always team Danny.
I'm not gonna lie. I wanted Jimmy Butler for that. 100%. I wanted Jimmy Butler.
I didn't care. I didn't care that I'm like, you're not telling me a number 3 pick's coming in better than Jimmy Butler right now. And I when it's up to 5,
I was really happy with the Jaylen Brown pick. I really liked McCall.
Yeah, it's cool. But once again, that's a great line to say. But
as DK representing a 6th of Celtics Twitter,
sure. But I'm like, at that time, I'm
just saying,
I was pissed.
I knew the Beatles were going to be good before they even left Liverpool.
But of course you did. So. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just a direction that they're going in. It's so refreshing in today's NBA's atmosphere. It's so refreshing just for me too, as a sports fan, because most of the teams I follow, like we talked about earlier today, are just going in a shitty direction that I can't support and can't really defend.
Right.
But everything the Celtics are doing right now is just so right, and it's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And like I said, I'm excited to see what they do. I mean, I want to add this last point that we'll touch on the rest of NBA free agency, but man, to see Brogdon and Gallo talk about what they talked about, and then you see a video right after Brogdon out there shooting threes on the practice court, I said, oh, he is locked in. So I know Dave, you know, you joked about propaganda. I think Brogdon's like, yo, this is my motherfucking time. Like he's on that danger. He's like, yo, my time is right now. Like, I'm not letting this moment slip. Like,
well, exactly.
I'm here for.
He has such a big opportunity ahead of him because you remember, man, when he left Milwaukee, he was the big free agent of that offseason. You remember that? He was like the big guy. He was the first one to go. He went to Indiana, and it was like,
I wonder how it would have looked had we had got him in 2019 as opposed to Kemba. And it's not fair to Kemba because obviously
I don't think it would have been fair to Brogdon, to be honest with you. I think
but I think to replace Kyrie, someone that would have been defensively minded, he would have been, because you would have had him starting, right? Because Smart was still coming off the bench.
Right.
Marcus Smart was starting. It would have been Brogdon, JB.
It might have been better because Brogdon's younger. I think it would have been better because he's young. You know what I mean? I feel like a vet coming into that point guard spot was cursed. No vet was going to be able to come into that point guard and run that group.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I feel.
But Brogdon went through what he went through. You know, health wise, I feel like those injuries were going to happen, and I feel like whoever came into that, like, we put so much pressure on Kemba. Like,
yeah, so much.
He came in and we were like, you gotta be as good as Kyrie, but be nice also. Like, that's what.
But he what that first season, like
he was awesome. That first half.
That first half, he was awesome. He was awesome.
But to put those same expectations on 2019 Malcolm Brogdon, as opposed to raring to go, champing at the bit, ready to come out of the fucking gate, ready to get his fucking like redemption story back in the East, back at the top of the East. Like all this storyline, all this stuff that's firing him up. Like you said, like he looks like he's a fucking racehorse about to like come out of the fucking, he's about to shoot out of the fucking tunnel for us, you know?
Like I said, before we get to the other stuff, but I was watching his highlights too, like that. Like I said, once again, he's almost 40% from 3 too. And like I said, he's a legit candidate for 50, 40, 90.
He can also low key make his own shot.
Yeah, he's never, and this is the big thing. I know you guys are all going to be excited when I say this next part. He never gets sped up. Ever. Watch his highlights. He never gets sped up.
It's almost like he's slow, right?
Yeah, it's because I mean they call Kyle Henderson slow mo, but I'm not sorry. I'm calling him slow mo for the Celtics. Like when we start doing the shows for the October, and we start doing the shows again for the regular season, like he is definitely slow mo. And I'm like, to me, like I said, he never gets sped up, and he consistently makes
so amazing.
Play.
No, it's true.
It's so amazing.
We've already used the word trickle down. You know, we're not talking about Reaganomics. We're talking about basketball.
Basketball is good. Economics
just
is not.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's gonna make shots economic for Boston. There you go. That's how we flip that.
Yeah, you know what we
sucked
sucked at last year? You know what we fucking sucked at so bad in the playoffs?
Winning the finals.
Using the whole but we fucking sucked at using all 24 seconds when we had to.
Yeah,
we were in situations where we needed to use all 24 seconds. The kill the clock Celtics were the worst fucking iteration of the playoffs team that we had last year. Everybody knows it. Malcolm Brogdon. I mean, just if you don't really know his game and you're listening to this, I'm not saying he's as good at this, but stylistically, I don't know if you remember Rajon Rondo, just like also a man that could not get sped up.
When he just sat there.
Very different games. Like obviously Malcolm Brogdon, I feel like he's going to dribble more. I feel like he's going to move a little bit more. I feel like he watches the court a little bit better. But you're absolutely right about him not getting sped up. Like, were we doing Sunday Night Sports Wrap when I had my whole like Rajon Rondo's greedy for assists? Like just so mad at Rajon Rondo because it's like it's like, dude, you make the first pass. You don't have to make the last pass every single fucking time. What I like about Malcolm Brogdon is he actually has that. He has that hockey assist thing in him too. Where he can make a little space. He can be the guy who passes the ball. Everyone knows that passes the ball to the guy who passes the ball to the guy who scores, right? And I feel like to be like, I guess my point is don't be alarmed by some of his box scores on some nights because he's a guy who can move into space, be in the place. He's good off the ball too. He can move around a little bit off the ball. And like you said, he's got almost 40%. And I think that shooting percentage is only going to benefit from the fact that he's going to have more space because he's around better guys.
Yeah, go, Bubba.
I was just saying the slowdown thing is so key because if you remember Game 6, Game 7, or Game 6, I wish it was 7. Game 5, Game 6. The most frustrating part was their inability to, in big possessions, take a step back and realize that this is a big fucking possession and you need to concentrate and do your shit. Run a play, do something. They would just stop doing what they were supposed to do, speed up the offense, get frantic, Marcus would make the pass out of bounds. And you're like, God, and Brogdon's going to solve that.
And I think also too, like once again, I keep saying we're going to move on to the NBA free agency, but but it's okay. It's fine. This is a good combo. I think also exactly it really doesn't run deep.
Welcome to the Malcolm Brogdon hour here on Mr.
Exactly. we're your three hosts for the evening. No, but I think that another thing, and it ties into him not being sped up. So remember when Brad Stevens was the head coach, all he would talk about was, guys, we got to hit singles, don't try to hit home runs. What I think Brogdon's also going to bring to the table outside of being not sped up, when you're up 10-12 and a team goes on a quick flurry because it's the NBA, that's going to happen. It's not something where he's going to keep jacking them threes. He's going to get to the line, slow it down, get a couple of, even if you miss, but people a chance to breathe, chill out. But it's like it slows down the pace because obviously they would get frantic, it would go crazy. So I think just getting 2 points still matters in the NBA, guys. The fact that it's threes and layups. Daryl Morey ruined that, even though Daryl Morey used to be here in Boston years ago under Danny Ainge. But it's not just threes and layups.
The Rockets ruined it.
Yeah, the Rockets. Yeah, you have to be able to score from everywhere on the floor. I've heard DK use this phrase, and I'm gonna steal it from him. So sorry about this. I'm going to die on that hill. You have to be able to score. People say, "Oh no, get threes." No, you have to score from three. You got to score from mid range. You got to score from obviously inside the paint. So the more
You also
effective
have to know when it's time.
levels, you're good. Exactly.
You have to know when it's time to score those fucking 2-point buckets, because I feel like a lot of what we were saying in the playoffs last year, and especially in the finals, was just get some twos, just get some easy looks, just get in there. And then you know who else was fucking saying that a lot? Ime.
Yeah.
You know, were we always doing it? Not so much.
No.
I think
it already quit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. A guy like
Brogdon,
a guy like Brogdon, I feel like, I feel like we're pretty good if we get an offensive rebound and we get a look where you should put it up right away. You know, it's like you get an offense,
have to run.
Yeah, exactly. You get an offensive rebound and you get it right away, and you get an open look. Go. I think Brogdon, if the offensive rebound comes down and it gets in his hands within the first 4 seconds of that 14-second clock, I want that more than it being in Marcus Smart's hands in that exact situation, if that makes sense. So like, I don't have the advanced metrics on what both those guys look like in that situation, but on the eye test, with a 14-second clock on an offensive rebound, or so yeah, if a play breaks down, for example, right, and you're in that kind of 10 to 7 second range, that's Malcolm Brogdon o'clock is my prediction. And that's relax. 7 seconds is longer than you think. We didn't have that quality last year. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that's exactly what he's bringing to the table.
Yeah. Mike is going to love Malcolm Brogdon. He's how he watches basketball and how Malcolm Brogdon operates. They're going to mesh perfectly. Like give Mike all the Brogdon stock, because he's going to fucking love him. I guarantee.
He's smart is the thing. Brogdon's smart. He's got a high basketball IQ. And I think, as much as I love our guys, I think that there was some lapses in that department. In big moments in the finals. I mean, I'm not here to shit on them, because they made it to the finals and I think they did it really well. But if you want to go back and you want to make another playoff run and you want to get to the finals again, you're going to have to go through the Milwaukee Bucks again, and they're going to probably have Chris Middleton healthy. So if you don't add some depth and you don't add some new looks, especially at the wing, you're not going to get past them. So I'm glad that we upgraded, because we had to still be competitive. If you're out there going, well, I don't know. I mean, we looked fine. When we made it to the playoffs, we had some unlucky plays. Steph Curry was on a mission. Fuck that. With everybody's getting better. Everybody
never stop getting better.
Right.
Never stop getting better.
Get better. Always get better. And look, that's where we're at, and we're doing it. I really do hope we use that trade exception to just fill a little.
Yeah, no, they definitely need to. That's not just I can see you don't use the $6.5 million, but you got to use that
17.
Even if it's not all 10, even if it's not all 17 million,
get a chunk of it.
You got to get something.
So what is
exactly.
Before we get to NBA free agency for the fifth time? So what does the deal look like though? So that's what I'm curious about.
No,
who do we move that has salary that won't
you don't have to. No.
I don't want to take away from that rotation. Don't want to take away.
You don't have to necessarily move a player. What happens is, even though they're able to take in that player, it adds to the salary cap. So it pushes them closer to the luxury tax if they don't, return the player, but they can still take them in without going over. Now, if they move the only player that I can see being moved back in the deal is really either Pritchard or Grant Williams. I don't think anyone else is going to move. I think they like what Derek White does. I know that he's hired quote on the show. I've been the biggest supporter of Derek White. I
like Derek.
Derek White.
I know, but exactly. I was early to the party with that. You guys I was late to the party with jumping on the bandwagon completely with y'all. Y'all was late to the D White. I was like, this guy's gonna win us or something.
No, totally. I agree. You were the first one in that line. I was a little bit mad because I like Jay Rich a lot when that whole deal went down.
Yeah, so he's also someone we just.
We could. I would take him back in a.
I would take it back right now in a heartbeat, because fans love him here, in the heartbeat. So, but that's probably also not gonna happen. But I think it can happen because it's already been a year.
He's not going to leave Dallas though, because he's actually got a.
No, he's in San Antonio, but
that's it. So that's a bit. He's got a primed role there. You know what I mean? Like he's a focal player.
Bro, it's like okay.
He was almost like Mr. Celtic, dude. Like he is a.
We did love him.
He became a fan favorite pretty quickly. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, then again, but I get it. San Antonio, I know Lonnie Walker's gone now. Keldon Johnson is really good. And once again, that's a pipe dream. I know they're not going to trade him here, but Keldon Johnson here would be really good. I'm just saying, but I want to get people excited. But he's another guy. Obviously, you know, they're still waiting on Romeo to come down there. So yeah, maybe he does become a veteran leader down there. But Jakob Poeltl is also someone that's been brought up in Celtic trade, but he only has 1 year left on the deal, so they may not do that.
Can I give you one more? One more?
Sure.
Guy who's been in big playoff minutes. I think he has a ring. Jordan Clarkson. I know it's another guard. We don't need many guards, but he's a positionless guard. He's a big guard. You maybe fit him in a small ball 3.
You wouldn't see him in the playoffs.
But no, I can see DK going on several rants about Jordan Clarkson.
Oh yeah, DK would hate Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, I know. I don't like it.
Yeah, I know you don't. But
so and
he's been in big moments. And that's the only
Duke
reason I would consider him.
Score with the best of them. Like but the problem is he's a lesser J.R. Smith. That's the problem. That's the problem. J.R. Smith.
All right, I don't want him.
No, but I'm saying that's how I see him. I could be dead wrong. I'm saying, but how I personally see him, I see him as a lesser version of J.R. Smith, less athletic, obviously. We've seen it when J.R. Smith got hot in the playoffs. That dude was something different. Ask Atlanta; they know. Atlanta knows. Go to say, you know, like when J.R. Smith had been in many big moments in New York, Denver, all that. So, Jordan Clarkson to me is not as good as what J.R. Smith was in his prime. So, can he score? Absolutely. But to me, let him stay over there and get all his points and be the sixth man over there. And in Utah,
I mean,
we have our sixth man.
We had this whole fucking conversation about building culture and getting guys that can fit this.
I'm like Jordan Clarkson.
Like Jordan Clarkson.
I brought the conversation.
I don't think he's a bad teammate. I don't think he's someone that, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying he's a bad team. I'm not saying he's a bad teammate. He just doesn't fit the profile, you know?
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, and then again, some people may fall in line because they know it is a championship team, but who knows? But let's finally get into the rest of the NBA. So, you know, we've been dipping in and out of that. But so yeah, we've had a lot of trades. We've had a lot of crazy money going around. So you know, Bobby, I'll start with you. You know, what was the most surprising or just the craziest signing you've seen? And just, you know, we'll start with that and then we'll get into trades.
It's not.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, it's not even the signing; it's a trade. It's Gobert going to Minnesota for just an absurd amount of picks, man. And good ball players too. They got so much back in that deal for a dude who's
Beasley.
Yeah, who for someone who's definitely on the downtrend, in my opinion. I know he was almost, you know, he campaigned for DPOY last year, but listen, Gobert, he hasn't been. Has he won a playoff series his entire career? One. I don't think he's won one playoff series.
Out of the first round.
No. He's been there since when did he get drafted there? He got drafted there in 2013.
So yeah, they went to the ECF 1 year. Then they made a run.
Yeah, because Gordon Hayward was there. His teammate for one. So you know, they've been in the Utah is the Green Bay Packers of the NBA. They're going to consistently get to the playoffs, but then they leave out early.
Right, and Gobert showing and being able to be played off the court was a big part of that the last 2-3 years. And the Minnesota Timberwolves just tied a bandwagon. I think they gave up 5 years of draft picks,
draft picks, first round draft picks,
and
a trade swap in there, or a pick swap in there. I mean, at one point, and Malik Beasley. I mean,
and Jared Vanderbilt, and you know what I mean?
God.
And it's not what blows my mind the most about this deal is the Timberwolves are the Timberwolves, guys. You're not the Celtics. You're not the Lakers. You're not the Heat. You're not a team who's got to be picking in the late 20s. It's possible that this entire thing blows up, right? Cat wants out. They have to trade Gobert again. And all of a sudden, 3 of those 5 top first round picks, unprotected, are top 10 picks. It's such an insane amount of capital to give up for someone that literally gets played off in crunch time. He gets played off the court. You know, I love Gobert, what he does on defense, but you got to have a little offensive game. And he has nothing.
And so you can rest assured Danny Ainge is banking on that.
Oh, bro, Danny came in there. He could have.
Yeah, he could have Yeah, he could have traded him to multiple teams. That would have won. Like he could have traded him to New York. He could have did anything for that. But he said, you know what? Let me go to a team that I know. It's good. And it's funny how it's always Minnesota for him, right?
Always
It's funny.
Minnesota.
So it's always Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? So he fleeced them once. He fleeced them again. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, it's like, wow, that is A-Rod, Glenn Taylor. Oh, Glenn Taylor's out there now, but I'm like A-Rod and whoever else owning them now, the co-owners. You guys got finessed in a major way.
It's so.
But I love Anthony Edwards though. That's my guy. I
Agreed.
think he is that guy's a superstar in the making.
100%.
He's a killer. But yeah, so
what's so funny is like the Timberwolves of all teams are the ones who are like, I love all the 3-point, love all the small ball, love the way the NBA is going. We're not doing it. We're going the other way. We're the smart ones. We're going 2 bigs, baby. Let's go. And it's like, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing? They're going.
Here's the thing. I'll go on record. I'll go on record right here. I mean, we'll always have this recording. They just crippled their fucking franchise. They crippled their franchise for the next 10 years. At the end of the day, if you give up that much, there should be, if there's a GM handbook, on the very first page of the GM handbook, it should say, could be called, page 1 should be called the Rudy Gobert trade. Okay. And it should be, if you're going to give up X, it doesn't matter what you get in return. Your team has to become Y. If you're going to give up all the shit that they just gave up, you better become a top 3 team. You better become a top 3 team in your conference. Like in the West, it boggles the fucking mind. Like it absolutely boggles the fucking mind.
Top 6, maybe,
dude, maybe. You know what I mean? Like Karl Anthony Towns, I'm sorry, he's not a proven commodity mentally. I think he's a talented player, but I love Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler says you're a bitch to me. So like, I don't know. I don't know if you have it. Rudy Gobert, the guy who like basically was the poster boy for like the NBA shutting down because of fucking COVID. Like there's just that fucking loop over and over of him being like into the fucking microphone like an idiot. Like they were playing that in fucking China, being like, look how fucking stupid Americans are. They're all going to die of the coronavirus. And they were fucking right. At the end of the day, Rudy Gobert doesn't make you a top 3 team. He just doesn't. I mean, I think he's a good player. Like you said, he does great things on defense. Danny Ainge is a fucking genius. He's a genius. I love him. I love that this is the best trade for a team I've seen since we got all those Brooklyn picks.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's it.
But at least that Brooklyn deal made the Nets almost a favorite going into that. Remember they were like, oh, yeah. the Nets are gonna. They have Deron Williams, KG. They have Paul Pierce now. They had
and their owner was like, I don't give a shit about.
Yeah, they became the '97 Houston Rockets.
Right, exactly.
It boosted them, yeah, for sure.
This deal doesn't even. They're not even in the conversation. Listen, they're going all in. I heard this. I think Simmons or Russo said this. They're going all in on a 20-year-old player right now. They're like, we need to win now.
I think he's going to be really good.
He's going to be awesome.
I think everybody does.
He's amazing.
He's a dog. No, he's a dog. Let's not. So let's not. I understand they just got fleeced. I hear you. I'm with you.
No. Listen, I get
number 5. That dude is something different.
I get it.
100%.
But you can't. You got to build around him. You can't give up the future for what you can build. Look what we did with Tatum and Brown. We built a team around these dudes. You know what I mean? With picks, with good moves, with things like that. You just crippled and handicapped yourself for years to come. You can't make another trade and trade a first round pick. You can't do these things. If Danny to bring a guy in around Edwards, man,
100%,
it's crazy.
If Danny Ainge is the GM and in for the T-Wolves, that's what he does. That's the thing. He's nowhere near a fucking deal like this because he's looking at fucking.
Well, he probably would have dealt Cat.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That would have been the right move. You know what I mean? He's looking at Anthony Edwards. He's going, this guy. That is,
we got to figure out how to build around
100% right. They're going, okay, well, I think he's probably just about good enough now. If we get Rudy Gobert and give up our entire future and like fuck the first 7 years of his career, everything's going to be fine. You know, it's like, I'm disappointed as a basketball fan. I wanted to see that guy at like 24, 25 years old and see what kind of fucking team he would have around him. He's going to be in superstar purgatory now. You know, because what's going to happen is they're going to get to the first round maybe they get to the semis and they're going to get bounced out. That's what's going to happen. Every basketball fan in America is saying the same thing because that's the case.
They cannot.
I mean, Bobby said there was.
They can't beat the Warriors.
No, oh God, no. Bobby was saying there's two camps on this. Like, you either feel strong one way or the other. I think your point's exactly right. There's the people who aren't involved with the Minnesota Timberwolves organization. There's everybody else. Those are the two fucking sides to this argument, you know?
Yeah. I mean, but then again, too, and I made this analogy on another show, but I think in Minnesota's mind, what they may be thinking of is, remember when Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins got together a few years ago, right? That should have been the most skilled, front court we've ever seen. It should have been.
That was fun for like 25 games.
Yeah, exactly. So Boogie got hurt, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they're trying to recreate. Obviously, I mean, none of them are the defender that Gobert is. None of them, Boogie, AD, or Cat, obviously. But I just think obviously he had the skill of Boogie. That it might have been scary hours for everyone had he had some offensive game. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they're not done. Maybe they still add something else there. In the regular season, I would say I'm not putting trust in that front office to do that because clearly, we see what they just did. But who knows? Maybe this unlocks Cat a little bit more. Once again, he's, regardless of what people feel about him mentally, he's walking 26, 12, and 2 every night. The dude is lethal. And once again, 4 months ago, so I'm like, we wanted him here 4 months ago. So I'd take him in a heartbeat if we could.
I'd take him
in a heartbeat.
I just think you added another wet noodle to a group of wet noodles with one dog in the middle. You know what I mean? That's exactly what you just did.
I don't think they should have traded Pat Bev though in the deal too. I think
that's what I mean. You took all your
culture a little bit, so yeah.
Right. Another dog. They just let it go. So I don't know.
So I mean, some of the signings that New York though, Jalen Brunson, 4 years, 109 or 110. That was
I don't love that contract for that.
Yeah, I listen. I'm with you. Like we had spoke to someone from Nesson on our show, but I was like, yo, this is not okay. Like this, like to me. So remember when Brogdon got 4 years, 85 mil from Indiana?
Sure do.
That's the deal I would have given Brunson.
Sure.
That'd been perfect for him.
But he got hyped. He got hyped as like the big free agent this year. You know what I mean? It was like, who's going to get Brunson?
Well, he got hyped because
they fell victim.
Just like Brogdon.
But they fell victim to that a little bit. I think they were like, we got to go get him if we don't.
No, he's gonna hoop. He's
a piece though. He's not a centerpiece. You know.
Right. When he's getting 20, he might get 20 a night over there because he has the ball in his hand. He could get 20 points, 6 assists. And they still might finish 7th in the East.
Yeah, but do you think he could be the second best player on a championship team? Maybe third best?
He could be third.
He'd be third
best.
But not second best. And that's the second best player on the championship team contract in my mind, you know?
Sure. But I mean, granted, I understand that they had to, New York has to overpay. Believe it or not, like they're not a destination that people want to go to.
I thought they did a little. They did some good wheeling and dealing, honestly, outside of that Brunson trade.
I was so mad though that they ended up signing. I wanted Mitchell Robinson so badly to back up.
I like Mitchell Robinson.
That honestly, if that was all we did was get Mitchell Robinson, I wouldn't get him none else. I wouldn't get one none else. I was like, you literally have a taller Rob to back him up. This is perfect. There's nothing else you need.
What's Jared Allen's deal right now? Is he just off limits to us? What's he like?
Yeah, unfortunately,
love Jared Allen. I love Jared Allen.
Well, because my thing is, why would Cleveland would trade him though?
Right. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
they actually got him for.
They got him for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. He's.
I like him so much though.
They would sign him. They would sign him though. Yeah, he's a monster. 5 years, 100 mil. I think he got from Cleveland.
Ooh,
and I mean, speaking to them too, they got. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do with Sexton because obviously he came off an ACL injury, but they gave Garland the bag. Obviously they got Isaac Okoro. Evan Mobley is a beast. So they have some pieces there in Cleveland that could propel them to at least
you talk about this stuff when you get into the offseason, you start looking at these contracts more in depthly. Obviously, we've been talking about it more in depthly. It's like it makes you think back to the people at the end of the season. They're going like, fuck, we got to trade Marcus Smart. He's got to get out of here. I'm like, well, I mean, just look at what he brings on paper compared to like his relative contract. Like his contract looks nice right now from what we gave him. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah.
it's like why?
Same with Rob, man. Same with Rob.
Yeah, I mean, these people are trying to trade away. Like you have to not just look at what they do, which I actually am fine with what Marcus Smart does, but yeah, it can't just look at what they do. It's the value that they have to the team. It's like he's playing like a guy that gets paid probably 10 more million a year than he actually is getting paid, if we're being honest. So you got to look at the value, I mean, if you're the Cavs and you have no shot of even maybe getting through a play-in, you got to look at the value of your contracts. You got to look at your future. If you're the Celtics, you got to look at the value of your contracts. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like it makes sense to sort of pay attention to this stuff.
And the other big deal too, is a loss and an addition for someone else. And I think it's so big that the Warriors lost Gary Payton. I know that Gary Payton second. I know they got DiVincenzo. I don't know why I can't fucking say people's names. But he was so key to them winning that finals against us, man. I just feel like when he wasn't there, they had no answer for, that extra spot on our lineup. They had no defensive guy to guard that third or fourth guy
at the right time.
Right. And they lost him though. And I think
they got healthy at the right time, which people don't want to speak about that either, but that's a whole other
facts.
Yeah.
We're still salty over here.
Yeah.
So
that's fact though. It's not salt. That's fact. It's truth. They got healthy at the right time.
All right. I'm still salty. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Him going to Portland's big because it gets another guy over there who's another dog next to Dame. He hasn't really had one since he lost CJ. Simon's too, right? Simon's is over there too. They overpaid for him a little bit, but they kind of had to though.
But exactly,
they kind of had to.
But he's taking leaps,
big time.
So I think that was a projection payment. That was like, okay, we're going to project that he becomes CJ 2.0 because that's what they're banking on him to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's only 22, 23 years old, so I think that's fine. I like Nasir Little. Once again, that's a UNC guy. I'm biased. I think Nasir Little's going to be good for them next year. They messed up by trading Gary Trent Jr. Last year or 2 years ago. I think he was also someone that was a dog for them in the bubble, and I think they gave up on him too early. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, Gary Payton second for sure. It's going to be a good side. He got the bag. I know they also lost Otto Porter. He went to Toronto. So that's another team that may make some deals too. Because I think they may look to move OG Anunoby, and if he's on the market, he moves to the top of the list too as a TP guy. But we'll see. I don't want to get back into actually gave that time earlier, but yeah. But I'm like Zach LaVine, 5 years, 215. That was an overpaid to me as well.
Another one they had to. You had
to do it. Anybody else that got them paid?
There's a lot of these though, isn't there? There's a lot of these like, you have to. You got to do it.
But do you know?
What do they do if they leave though? What do you do if they then they're just fucked?
Yeah, but then you're not winning with that guy,
right? Unless you're 100% sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're not winning with that guy.
But at the same time, it's not like you do trades anymore, where it's a star for a star. That just doesn't happen. If you're gonna trade a guy like Zach LaVine, you're gonna get 4 first-round picks back and have to rebuild from the top. And the Bulls are not in any position to rebuild at this point. You know what I mean? They're just not.
Man, that's when you get the money to DeRozan. You got
right. They're just not.
Sure. I get that part. But even we just speak about this. I said we need to wrap something. We're running on time. But how'd y'all feel about Zion getting his 231 though? How'd y'all feel about that?
I mean, he's still kind of like an unproven commodity as far as if his body's gonna hold up, but he looks pretty fucking fit. He looks pretty in shape. And what I will say about paying a guy like Zion as opposed to paying a guy like LaVine is like he's box office. So just from like a business standpoint, it's like I don't know, dude. Like if you're the Pelicans, like. Do you even really need to win a championship, or do you just need to sell some fucking Zion jerseys? Like, is that the dirty little secret of the fucking fucking Pelicans organization? You know what I mean? Like, they're fucking Saints town, So I don't know.
Yeah, but no, they're just the third. Like and the Saints aren't even number one. It is LSU, then the Saints, then it's the Pelicans. Like they're not even. They're and when I say they're a distant third, like what's that song from Marvin Gaye? Distant lovers. Like they're a distant lover. They are way down on the totem pole. It's not even close.
That's funny. But yeah, I'll tell you this: if the Pelicans had to make a decision right now and pick between Zion and Ingram just brought them to the playoffs, had a great season, great 2 years, they still pick Zion. Zion's like DK just said, he's box office, so he sells you your tickets.
He's been on the court though,
right? But he
24, 5, and 6.
They're just gonna sell that upside all night and day. I think Ingram probably is out of there.
He's 24. It's not like he's 30. He's 24.
But he's not Zion. He's not Zion though. Not Zion. So I agree.
24, 5, and 6, man.
I listen. I completely agree. But I'm just telling you what the Pelicans are thinking, and like that deal, they have to do that. Because if you don't, Zion's going.
That's dangerous.
You got to do it.
Sure, but that's dangerous. So 24, 5, and 6. They listen with a healthy team. They might have beat Phoenix, bro. Like that.
You plop Zion into that team. That's
what I'm saying. They would have given Phoenix fits.
Yeah.
They was giving Phoenix fits. So I think to me, and once again, I'm not a Brandon Ingram guy. So the fact that I'm supporting him openly on this, I'm not a Brandon Ingram guy. Could I be he's better than Jimmy? He's gotten better since he left LA, obviously, but he wasn't better than Brown or Tatum. Maybe he might just hit that league now to say he's on that same level as maybe Brown, but he's not better than Tatum, in my opinion. But I just think for their team, he became their best playmaker this year. He became their best defender at times. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm giving him as much praise as I was Zion. He's been there. He's the one that got him into the playoffs, not Zion. He was the one out there playing every night. That's just how I roll. I once again, I agree. Off this thing, I get it. I'm giving guys flowers that fucking show up and play. Brandon Ingram was out there. Once again, I'm not a Brandon Ingram supporter, but the dude, I give credit where it's due. Dude was out there giving everyone business on a regular basis. But he's sleepy. He's laid back. That's why he'll never be in that conversation because he's super laid back. That's why they call him Baby KD. He don't want to do nothing. He just want to hoop. That's all you want to do is just hoop.
Yeah.
All you want to do is hoop.
I can guarantee you, they're both up for contract. They can only afford one. They're picking Zion.
Well,
100%.
Ingram already got his
Yeah, you got it. What, last year?
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So they're good. So, but I mean, like I said, we can leave it at that. Let's anything else we want to add. But I know we're long on time. So
only thing I want to add is KD might not get traded specifically because of that Gobert trade. That might be
I don't know if he's going to get traded anyway, to be honest with you.
But that's like the stake. That's like the stake in
they have to play 96 Bulls to come back like that. That's ridiculous. Like it's wild.
They wanted LeBron and AD.
Yeah, like come on, that's not happening. Like that's the like if I'm Joe Leo, something I'm doing that's not working. So on that note, we would that would do it for Missing the Point. I am Rayshawn Buchanan with the real BK Bob Kelly and DK Sizzle. Until next time, we'll see you. We love you. Peace.